Beneath Spain's wrought iron balconies and cobblestone streets lie voices. They are trapped in objects from the past. When touched, when the sun goes down, they tell their story. Be advised that this is a horror podcast with very adult themes. I was once in a romantic relationship with someone who used to scream at me until they made me cry. I then had to apologize for crying because my tears made them feel bad. I've seen this tactic play out in all kinds of human relationships, with friends, romantic partners, abusive parents toward their children, or even children toward their parents. The typical, "Look what you made me do," to shift all the blame onto the aggrieved party. It's pretty gross, and it's effective. For the victim in this situation, it can be almost impossible to break this cycle, especially when they're locked in it with a loved one. Sometimes, the only way to break the cycle is if some external force comes crashing in. Something with power. With dark power. A beastly power. Yo soy Samuel. Bienvenido a Spanish Sundown. Downtown Madrid, 2025.
Come on, Clara. Don't be like that. Don't go.
Let go of the car door, Raul. Like most couples fights, this fight isn't about the thing that it was about. Clara and Raul had been with friends the night before. She had started to share some news.
Yeah, so I'm working on a new nature photography project, and I think I might have even found a sponsor, so I'm really excited about it.
When Raul interrupted her. Again.
Oh yeah, I'm working on a new show too, about the history of the Madrid mountains. Did I tell you about it? After I won that award for the one on the history of the bandits.
And Raul continued to talk and talk about himself for the rest of the night. Like always. None of their friends even realized what he had done. He did it so subtly and easily. No one noticed that Clara barely even talked anymore at all when they were out. All they noticed was a guy who looked great on screen, with a history channel on TikTok with tons of followers. And he was just so interesting. Talking, always talking, but with emerald green eyes and a beautiful smile. A really beautiful smile. Raul opens the car door. Clara begins to cry. Raul stares at her for a minute. Then, he starts to cry too. He speaks.
Don't cry. I hate to see you sad. It makes me sad, and then I feel bad. I'm not sad. I'm mad. You always do this, Raul. Not everything is about you. I'm not comforting you, again, after you acted like shit, again. I'm out.
And she slams the door, almost catching his finger.
Clara, be careful. Don't make me yell. You know I need my voice to work. Can you open the door?
Clara looks at him through the window.
Come on.
She says, more for herself than for him.
You know what, Raul? Shutting up is free.
She looks over at her husky, Luna, in the back seat. A shock of white hair on her little head with pointy ears. She starts the engine, overpowering Raul's never-ending flow of words outside the car.
Come on, Clara, don't do this. You know how many times you put me through this. We have got...
She hates to admit it, but she knows when the anger fades, she'll be back. Because she can't quit his emerald green eyes either, no matter how many times they do this. The cycle always repeats. She leaves downtown Madrid and its endless streets of apartment buildings behind, then guns the engine up the winding A6 motorway toward Madrid's Sierra Mountains and her family cabin in the woods. She had remembered to grab her camera, her Canon 90D, at the last moment. If nothing else, this spat would give her time to work on her nature project. The traffic begins to thin after about a half hour as she climbs the Alto de Leon Pass. She speeds through a brightly lit 8-lane tunnel, one of the longest in Spain at almost 2 miles, bored straight through the mountainside. In another 5 minutes, it spits her out in another province, Madrid no longer visible behind her. She takes the first exit for the town, San Rafael. It's cold out, but she rolls her window down anyway. She wants to smell it. Firewood smoke and the beef the region is famous for. They grill it in the parrilla restaurants between the brightly colored houses all along the main street. Later. Steak later. Now, all she wants is sleep. At the end of the main drag, she turns down a dark gravel road, then parks. She opens the door to her cabin and flops onto her mattress. Luna hops up on the bed next to her.
Oh, fine, Luna. Okay, you can sleep here tonight.
And they both fall asleep. It had been an exhausting day. Luna's scratching on the door wakes her up the next morning.
I'm coming, Luna. Calm down. I'm taking you on a long hike up the mountain today.
Clara grabs her camera. She's about to hook Luna's leash to her collar, but then decides against it. There's no one out here, and this dog always comes when called anyway. She shoves the leash in her pocket.
Luna, come on, girl, let's go.
The trail, if you could call it that, is steep. It's not well maintained, with low-hanging branches forcing the hikers to stoop. There are potholes and rivets washed out from the winter rain. Shale, ice, and slippery rocks everywhere. And the smell of fresh mud. After hiking long enough for her calves to burn, Clara and Luna reach 2 boulders on either side of the path. As big as elephants, like 2 dark granite sentries guarding the trail. She looks up at them as she walks between them, when, oh shit! She slips in the mud and briefly loses her footing. She almost falls to the ground, but manages to steady herself by awkwardly flapping her arms around in the air. She looks at her feet and sees that the path is a slippery mess of wild boar prints that have churned the earth into sludge. There's even a hollow where a boar clearly bathed itself in dirt. This is odd. She barely has time to think how strange it is that boar are around at this time of year, because all of a sudden,
What the fuck?
a rabbit right in the middle of the path, staring. Rabbits don't normally shriek at you, only if you really scare them, or they're sick, or a predator has snapped one of their tiny little bones. From just a few feet away, the dun-colored animal's eyes are trained on her, frozen. She can see its little chest puffing up and down. Clara slowly lifts her camera to her face, looking through the lens at the trembling animal. It's a beautiful shot. She takes several pictures. A shrieking rabbit is such a unique thing to see. The problem is that Luna sees the rabbit too. And when she starts to chase it, the rabbit scampers off, the dog hot on its tail.
Luna! Luna, get back here! We're supposed to film the rabbits, not eat them!
Luna can run much faster than Clara, of course. She quickly loses sight of the dog.
Damn it! Why didn't I put a leash on her?
Luna! Luna!
Clara isn't worried when she first starts walking after her dog. Luna always comes back when called. But after 5 minutes go by, she feels the first pang of concern in her gut.
Luna? Luna!
And after 30 minutes, she falls into full-blown panic. She slips and slides up the path, her eyes stinging with tears.
Luna, where are you, Luna?
If anything happened to Luna, until she sees a little shock of white hair and pointy ears, darts into the forest ahead of her.
Luna? Luna, come!
But Luna doesn't come. the pine branches hit Clara in the face as she runs after her. Until she abruptly comes to a clearing. A meadow with a slight dusting of snow on the grass. In front of her, a sheer rock face on the massive mountainside. And there's Luna. She is somehow making her way up the rock, leaping from one car-sized granite stone to another amidst the rock rose shrubbery.
Damn it, Luna, get back here!
When Clara rushes after her, she is surprised to find a stairway carved into the stone mountainside, man-made, all the way out here.
What is this place?
And even more surprising, when she reaches the top, is a large opening to a cave. With Luna standing there, wagging her little tail, she's happy to see Clara. The rabbit is long forgotten.
Luna, don't you ever run off like that again.
Standing at the entrance to the cave with Luna beside her, Clara can finally stop to catch her breath. She notices the view.
Oh my God.
Under the crisp winter sunshine, she can see for hundreds of miles in 3 different directions. Lakes shimmering in the distance. Madrid and its glinting towers beyond. The fresh, clean snow on the treetops of the mountains all around her. It feels icy in her lungs. It's incredible. Clara puts the leash on Luna.
I am not letting you run off again.
But then, curiosity gets the better of her. You can't just see the mouth of a cave and then not go inside.
Luna, come on. Let's check it out.
Clara gently pulls on the leash. Luna doesn't budge.
Fine, but then you're staying right here.
Clara ties Luna's leash around a rock, then takes a few steps into the gloomy, moist cave. There's just enough light from the opening to barely illuminate her steps. It's not a deep cave, maybe 30 feet. It tapers off in the back, narrowing down. And the light doesn't reach back here so well. Clara trips and bangs into a rock ledge protruding from the stone wall. It breaks off and crashes to the ground.
Shoot!
She turns to leave. There's not much to see here. That's it. She's seen enough when there is something glowing on the damp, sandy ground in the gloom. Next to the pieces of rock she accidentally broke off. She crouches to pick it up. She feels the smooth, bony texture, but it's hard to see in the semi-darkness. She walks toward the mouth of the cave for a better look in the light. It looks like some kind of animal fang or tusk, made of gold, set into a gold mount on a gold link chain. A necklace. It's cool, but it looks normal enough if it weren't for the fact that it's glowing red. When Clara touches it, she feels a surge, like an electrical shock, shoot through her finger and all around her body.
Ow! What is this thing? Come on, knock it off, Luna.
The golden mount is intricate. It looks handmade, like it's hundreds of years old.
Luna, be quiet.
Clara holds the necklace up to the light outside. She takes a few pictures with her Canon. The animal tooth necklace glowing red in the sunlight. There's something about this necklace that makes her uneasy. She suddenly becomes acutely aware of the taste of her own saliva in her mouth, right when the distinct odor of animal droppings and rotten hay, somewhere nearby, hits her right in the nose. The longer she holds the necklace, the more her skin prickles. Luna is barking, lunging straight at the necklace that Clara is holding out in front of her. Clara makes a quick decision.
Calm down, Luna. We'll leave it here.
And she tosses the necklace back inside the cave.
Good girl, Luna. Come on, let's go home.
Clara should sleep well tonight, after running all over the mountain. But she does not. She dreams of the tusk and the gold mount with the red glow. Luna barking hysterically. Angry, crazed rabbits. Wild boars in the snow. And the strangest thing, the image of rotting fingers turning to black and falling off their hand. When Clara wakes up, her stomach is acid. Her head hurts. Her lungs are tight and her heart is racing. There is something about that necklace. She has to find out what it is. And she knows who she needs to ask. Raul. Influencer historian, and also specialized in the mountains of Madrid. She still doesn't want to see Raul, but the curiosity is killing her. And if anyone would know, well, it would be him. And she's going to have to talk to him at some point, eventually. She texts the picture she took of the tusk necklace with 3 words.
What is this?
Raul responds within minutes.
I'm on my way.
Luna wags her tail when he walks through the door.
Hey, Luna, good girl.
And Clara, well, she's annoyed. Because she feels almost as happy as Luna does to see him. They sit on the couch in front of the fire. She looks at his emerald green eyes as he explains.
These pictures are good, Clara. Like, really good.
Clara hates the warm feeling his words of praise give her.
Thanks. I found it in some cave. That has to be La Cueva Valiente, the Valiant Cave. I recognized the necklace immediately. It's from a drawing I saw when I was researching my last show. There was a famous bandit in the region, a guy named Juan Plaza. You know these mountains used to be full of highway robbers. Anyway, they say he used to hide out in this cave, and that it's impossible to find. Even today, even the locals have a hard time finding it. But obviously you did. Well, Luna's the one who actually found it. But I still don't get what the necklace is. So, there's this legend about an old woman rumored to be a witch, sometime in the mid-19th century. On her deathbed, she raved about a golden boar tusk necklace, something about the power of beasts. Said it was hidden in La Cueva Valiente. Where's the necklace now? I left it back at the cave. I obviously don't believe in magic, but people do love the legend. This show's gonna get tons of views. Do you remember how to get there?
Clara isn't sure what the necklace is, really. But whatever it is, she does not want Raul to have it. Not this time. This is hers. And who knows? Maybe a picture of a rediscovered, possibly magical golden tusk necklace with a famous legend would stand a better chance of winning a contest than a nature shot.
I'd rather not take you there, Raul.
Raul stares at her for a second.
We'll talk about this later.
Then, they both stare into the fireplace for a few moments. After a while, he changes the subject.
Hey, Clara? I'm sorry about yesterday.
Clara looks into his eyes. The emerald green eyes. Here we go on the same cycle, all over again. She can't help it.
I am too, Raul.
Raul smiles and holds out his arms.
Oh, get over here.
He has such beautiful green eyes. When Clara wakes up, it's already late afternoon. The fire has gone out and she's alone on the couch.
Raul? Where did you go?
She puts her boots and jacket on, shivering. There's a voice speaking in low tones outside the house.
Got the perfect theme for my next
It's
show.
Raul. She approaches the front door. It has been left ajar. Before opening, she sniffs the air. The smell of food is wafting in from the town. She would kill to finally have that grilled steak, potatoes and peppers, with a bottle of Rioja. She's about to suggest getting dinner at a parrilla restaurant to Raul when she hears his words.
Tusk necklace I told you about? Yeah, the one from the legend. Well, I found it. Yep. I found it. I can even send you pictures that I took.
Clara watches through the crack in the door as Raul positions his phone in front of the digital screen on her camera in front of the pictures that she took. She flings the door open and steps outside the cabin. This time, the cycle is really starting off with a bang.
Raul? What the hell?
Raul drops his phone on the ground.
What the? Oh, hey, Clara, you're awake. I'm just talking to one of my colleagues. Oh, I heard you. Can you just let me have one thing, dude? Why is everything about you? Whoa. Hang on. What do you think you heard? Shut up, Luna. Now is not the time. Clara, come on. This is going to be incredible for my career. I just need you to show me the cave, and then we can talk about... Oh my God, Raul! Give it a rest already! I am so sick of your shit! How can you be so self-centered?
While yelling at each other by the front door, neither of them notice the rabbit that appears at the edge of the grass. But Luna does. Luna runs off toward the edge of the property. It takes Clara a few moments to notice.
Wait, Raul? Where's Luna? I don't know. Somewhere around here. But wait, Clara, listen to me. I was gonna say that... No, she's over there.
Clara sees a cute tuft of white fur disappear around the corner into the forest.
Shit. Luna, not again.
Clara takes off at a run.
We are in the middle of a conversation, Clara. You're just going to have to wait, Raul. Luna?
Clara rushes after the dog. She is annoyed to see her taking the exact same slippery trail they took yesterday. She can guess where the dog is headed. Hey, at least she knows the trail now. But if the trail was tricky enough in the morning light, now, with the sun going down, the loose pebbles and muddy holes are even more dangerous. Sure enough, there's Luna climbing up the same rock face as before. By the time Clara reaches the cave mouth, Luna is already there, panting. Clara hears Raul coming up the cliff face behind her, just as the sun dips under the horizon.
Is Luna here? Is she all right?
Suddenly, Raul stops talking and looks all around.
Wait. This is the cave, isn't it?
Raul doesn't wait for Clara to answer. He rushes inside the dark opening.
Where is it? Where is it, Clara?
Clara runs in after him. In the gloom, at the back end of the cave, she can make out the faint red glow. She leaps toward it, pushing past Raul. And then, Raul does something he had never done before. Yeah, he could be an asshole sometimes, but he had never thrown her to the ground.
What the fuck, Raul? Look what you made me do!
Her chest heaving and her back in pain, she looks at him for a second. But then, she sees the glowing necklace right next to her. Raul sees it too. They struggle, both trying to grab it. They wrestle. Raul is stronger, but Clara is madder. She kicks him in the shin. The tip of her boot toe cracks against his bone. He screams. But then, Raul pushes her one more time. She falls and hits her ribs on something hard and cylindrical. The hilt of an antique-looking knife. She takes it in her hand and yanks it from the sandy ground.
Clara, put that down. I'm serious. Clara, put that down.
Clara stares at Raul's silhouette, outlined against the night sky. And as her fingers curl around the hilt of the knife, the voices begin. Like a jolt, they leap from the sword handle to her fingers. She feels their pain. Homes on fire, carriages on fire, blunderbuss shots, bleeding horses, running and panting in the dark. The smell of sweat and dried blood enters her nostrils. And then, everything goes dark. The voices have a story to tell. Sierra Guadarrama Mountains of Madrid, Port of León, 1815. The first gunshot jolted Juan awake. Even before he opened his eyes, he knew they were soldiers. He recognized the sound of their guns, much more modern than the blunderbusses that he and his men were still forced to use. The Spanish army was weakened, but their weapons still far outpowered their own. Juan knew this, and he knew it was no use to fight. He jumped to his feet and just had time to yell,
Sebastian, run!
Before running away himself toward the darkness, in the opposite direction of the dim light of the smoldering fire. In his right hand, his gun, and in his left, the carved wooden box with jewels. In the dark confusion as he fled, a stray bullet hit him on the right hand, shattering his right hand ring finger in an explosion of nerves and blood. It happened so suddenly that he didn't even register the pain at first. He only realized that he couldn't hold on to his decades-old firearm any longer. His weapon slid to the ground. He still had the box of jewels they had stolen from the government convoy, though. It was worth far more anyway. He crouched behind a tree to catch his breath and observed the scene. He tasted bile in the back of his throat as he watched. Most of his men were dead on the ground, in pools of blood, their gold-toothed mouths gaping open, wearing hooped earrings and scarves on their lice-infected heads. A few lucky men were being led away by the soldiers in shackles. Or maybe not so lucky. If they didn't die here, they would by the gallows. He wished he could say that they were good men, but they weren't. They were a ragtag lot. Petty thieves from the city of Madrid, ex-convicts who couldn't find any other work, or men who were just plain lazy and didn't want to work. One of these men must have sold Juan out. How else would the authorities have found their hiding place? He knew it hadn't been any of the mountain people. They loved him too much. He was Juan Plaza, bandit who stole from the rich and gave to the poor. They would never turn him in. He didn't see Sebastian dead on the ground or with the prisoners, though. Maybe that was a good thing. Maybe that meant he got away. Sebastian was one of the few good ones in his gang. They had fought together when France invaded Spain and Napoleon stuck his dumb, useless brother, Pepe Botella, in the royal palace like some puppet king. Juan and Sebastian fought and managed to kick the French out and put King Ferdinand VII back on the throne. But now, the government wanted nothing to do with them, hadn't even paid them for their service. How's that for thanks? So, Juan and Sebastian decided to have their revenge and rob the ungrateful nation they had once served. They joined the other vultures feeding off the last remnants of the limping Spanish Empire. The pirates, escaped American slaves and Seminoles in Florida, the Mexicans clamoring for their independence, and Juan and Sebastian's gang of thieves in the Guadarrama Mountains just outside Madrid. The Pass of León was the perfect spot to raid the convoys that traveled between Madrid and the north of Spain. These were wagons loaded with rich textiles and food, government correspondence, money, and jewels. Good on Sebastian for getting away. He would find him again. Maybe. Eventually. He hoped so anyway. But for now, he had to think about himself. He tightened the broad red sash around his waist and noticed it was stained with blood. Whether it was his own or someone else's, he didn't know. Clutching the box of jewels, he stealthily stood up from behind the tree and tiptoed away into the darkness, breaking into a full sprint as soon as it was safe to do so. He would go to the cave, Cueva Valiente. He would be safe there. It was dark, but Juan knew the way. He found the two large boulders standing on either side of the trail, as big as elephants, like granite sentries. Then, up the steep trail with fallen branches, shale, and loose rocks. He only fell once when his cracked leather boots slid on a stone. Falling onto one's hand when a finger has been blown off is especially painful. He reached the meadow, then up the open cliff face, up the hidden steps that he and Sebastian had carved into that mountainside all those years ago. And finally, the cave. As he sank onto the damp, sandy cave floor, he looked out over the black mountains, barely lit by the moonlight. In the distance, he could make out the fires still burning of his obliterated camp. Farther still, a black mass, indistinguishable in the night. Juan knew it was Madrid. It was snowing. He was glad for his leather boots, his gaiters, the scarf around his head, and the felt hat a couple of sizes too big. And for the red sash, stained in someone's blood. His shirt and pants reeked of dirty sweat and wet ash, but with his hand in excruciating pain, he barely noticed. Losing a finger hurts. Juan maybe slept for a few days. He wasn't sure. It was a fitful, feverish sleep, with chattering teeth and shivering legs. And his hand. He had wrapped it in the sash, but now the other fingers were turning black and had no sensation. He had seen this in other men before. He would need to chop the whole thing off if he didn't want the black to spread up his entire arm. If Sebastian was still alive, he hoped he would think to come to the cave and find him. Juan was dying. Suddenly, footsteps. Sebastian? Or maybe the soldiers had tracked him through the snow. So weak he could barely move, Juan crawled on his knees and elbows to the back of the cave, taking shelter in the dark recess. He was missing his gun now.
Juan!
That was a woman's voice. When she poked her silver-gray head inside the mouth of the cave, her wrinkled face made Juan smile.
Luisa, how did you find me?
You know, I see everything.
You always were a witch.
I saw your footprints in the snow. I knew you'd be here.
The locals said that Luisa practiced magic. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. All Juan knew was that she was kind. In fact, they had shared moments of something, well, more than kindness. But that was a long time ago.
Juan, I brought something for you. It should bring you relief.
Luisa entered the cave and sat by Juan's side. From her skirt pocket, she withdrew a polished wild boar tusk, set into a gold mount with a handmade golden chain.
It has power. Dark power. The power of beasts.
Juan took the gold tusk pendant in his one good hand.
Can it
Juan held out his blackened hand with the missing finger toward her.
fix this?
Luisa shook her head, pursing her lips.
It can't undo what's been done, Juan. But it can punish wrongdoers. You've been wronged, haven't you?
Someone betrayed me and my men.
Luisa nodded and took the tusk. Whispering, she held it in front of her mouth, while chanting the same words over and over again.
Castiga al que mal te ha hecho. Castiga al que mal te ha hecho. Castiga al que mal te ha hecho.
The words she said, punish the one who did you wrong. Luisa took the tusk necklace and put it around Juan's neck. It glowed, a faint magical red.
The tusk will find the one who wronged you, and he will be punished.
Juan barely nodded, his eyes already closing. Luisa didn't know whether he had heard her or even understood. She kissed him on the forehead,
Goodbye, Juan.
stood to her feet, and then gently tiptoed out of the cave. Once again, Juan didn't know if he had slept for hours or for days. A raging fever makes one lose track of time. Between fitful bouts of sleep, he thought he saw a four-legged figure standing in the mouth of the cave, staring at him. With long, matted brown hair and gleaming fang-like tusks. A wild boar. Probably waiting to make him his dinner. Juan awoke again to the sound of human footsteps outside the cave. This time, he didn't have the strength to crawl to the back. He merely pressed himself against the wet stone wall the best he could, trying to blend into the darkness, hoping not to be seen if the person was an enemy. But then, the man poked his head inside the cave. Juan had never been happier to see his friend.
Sebastian!
Indeed, Sebastian had found him. And in fact, he didn't look much worse for the wear. He had the same red sash around his waist as Juan, but it had been cleaned. And he had a new colorful jaunty hat over the bandana wrapped around his head.
Juan, I knew I'd find you here.
I was hoping you'd come. I need help, Sebastian. My hand. Look at my hand.
As Sebastian approached in the semi-gloom of the cave, his eyes darted every which way, as if looking for something.
I need to get help for my hand. I think it needs to be taken off.
We'll get you out of here and find a doctor. But first I just need to,
To what?
Huh?
Sebastian approached, while Juan asked the question that had been tormenting him ever since it happened.
Sebastian? Do you know how the soldiers found us?
Oh, I didn't see much of anything when I escaped. I know as much as you do. You took the box with you, didn't you? The box of jewels? I swear, if it got lost in the ambush...
Yes, I have it with me. Sebastian, someone must have sold us out. Who do you think?
Oh, I don't know, Juan. You said you have the box with you? Where is it?
Sebastian moved even closer to Juan. Suddenly, he lost his footing and tripped in the dark. A copious handful of coins, reales, stamped with Ferdinand VII's likeness, spilled from a purse around Sebastian's waist, all over the sand and stone floor. Juan's jaw dropped.
Where did you get all that money?
And that's when Juan realized. Losing a hand hurts, but losing your heart hurts even more. Juan's heart dropped from his chest and fell out his back, leaving an empty hole full of pain.
Oh. It was you, wasn't it?
Juan stared Sebastian straight in the face as a hot tear popped out of his eye.
Where's the box, Juan?
Another tear. And at that moment, Sebastian saw the box next to Juan and leapt to grab it.
Aha!
You were supposed to be my friend. Look at my hand. It's this way now because of you.
Sebastian picked up the box and opened it to check its contents.
Oh, good. It's all still here.
And then, Sebastian drew a knife.
I hate doing this to you. I really do. But I'm sick of the poor outlaw life, and you can't exactly expect me to share.
More tears poured down Juan's face.
Oh, stop it. Be a man. Stop crying. Do not make me feel bad about this.
Juan just continued to stare at him, wordlessly. Tears.
Stop it. You're the one making me do this.
And he held the knife up high, brandishing it in the air. Just when he was about to bring it down and stab the man, something caught Sebastian's eye.
Oh, now what is this?
The tusk in the gold mount, still lying against Juan's chest. Sebastian lunged for it and picked it up in his fingers. When he did so, he accidentally pricked his finger with the tip of the tusk. The bone-smooth golden surface began to glow a powerful, dark red.
daño!
And his right hand ring finger shriveled like a tiny dried out worm as his other fingers and the top half of his hand went black. He dropped the knife to the ground. In a trance, words not his own came out of his mouth. Sebastian dropped to his knees and stared straight ahead, repeating the same words over and over. I have done you wrong. His eyes did not flicker when the boar entered the cave. It was mangy. Moss, sticks, and mud hanging from its underbelly. A thick layer of ticks on its bearded jowls. Upturned tusks. Hooves. The stench of rotten hay and animal feces. Slowly, deliberately, it carried its fat body on its disproportionate spindly four legs toward Sebastian. Inches from Sebastian's absent face, it suddenly clamped its jaws onto what was the rest of his hand. Now, Sebastian did react. Looking at the stump of a wrist where his hand used to be, bleeding out, he cried. He repeated the same words over and over again as the boar left the cave, chomping and savoring Sebastian's hand in its tusked mouth. And then he passed out from the pain. The traitor had been punished. Oddly enough, they were forced to spend their last days together. A few more nights of gangrene and feverish dreams, and then they finally succumbed to the infection when it spread throughout their organs. The boar dragged the bodies outside the cave and finished them off when they died. Port of Leon, Cueva Valiente Mountain, 2025. Clara's eyes flutter open. She's still holding Sebastian's knife in her hand, and Raúl is standing above her, his mouth open in shock. And then Clara remembers, he pushed her. And she remembers Luisa and the words to say. It's time to break the cycle. She takes the necklace.
Clara? What the fuck?
Clara brings the tusk to her lips. She utters the incantation.
Castiga al que mal me ha hecho. Castiga al que mal me ha hecho. He who has done me wrong. Castiga al que mal me ha hecho. What are you doing?
Raúl grabs the necklace. He wants to take it from her. He yanks on the chain. He pulls in his direction. She pulls back in hers. But then Clara suddenly lets go. The rebound effect makes the necklace fly in his direction, toward his face. And the tusk pricks him on the lip. It glows a dark, powerful red. And Raúl touches the trickle of blood. Then he stops short, his face twisted in horror. He opens his mouth in the dark cave, but the only sound he makes is a strange squeak. His mouth wide open, he hurls and retches, still squeaking. Then, something plops from between his lips. It falls to the cave floor. Clara leans over and sees that it's a hunk of black, shriveled tissue. His tongue. Frozen in place, both Clara and Raúl stare at the dried-out flesh on the cave floor that just seconds before was living inside Raúl's mouth. The smell came first. Mange, moss, mud, rotten, and animal feces. Then came the grunting. Raúl's blackened tongue begins to writhe on the floor, popping, crunching, sliding, disappearing chunk by chunk, being gulped down the throat of a boar from another time. A boar that neither of them can see. Clara leaves Raúl standing there, his mouth agape, empty, tongueless. She runs home with Luna, quickly packs her things, then gets into her car.
Come on, Luna. We're leaving.
Clara forgets all about Raul. As far as she knows, his career is over.
Don't make me yell. You know I need my voice to work.
No one's interested in a voiceless influencer. She never mentions the necklace to anyone, and she deletes the pictures she took of it. But in a strange way, she's grateful to the dark red power that broke the cycle. Clara does win a photography contest, however. Turns out, people love her animal photos. A petrified, shrieking rabbit staring into the lens is such a unique thing to see. Hola, Samuel here. The mountain pass between Madrid and the north, called El Puerto de León, or the Port of León, was a real hotspot for bandits. Their heyday began in the 18th century, when they would attack the convoys traveling between the Spanish capital city and France. The area was perfect for these gold-toothed outlaws in their red sashes. They could swoop down off the mountain, strike a lightning attack, and then take off with their loot and hunker down in the many hideouts the surrounding nature had to offer, until things simmered down. This continued all the way until after the Spanish Civil War in the 1940s. This was when the dictator Franco finally stamped out the last escaped war prisoners, refugees, and career delinquents who were still carrying on the centuries-old criminal tradition. I went to the Cueva Valiente, the cave where they said Juan Plaza hid from the authorities and then finally died. And it's just as hard to find as they say. The trail is steep and treacherous, and the cave isn't well marked. In fact, my friends and I got lost, which added an extra hour to our route. But once you make it there, oh man, it is spectacular. There are 360-degree views of Madrid, Segovia, and almost to Avila. And at the top of the mountain, I thought this was really cool, is a small stone shelter, and it's got a fireplace. And if you're brave enough, you can spend the night. So check the show notes for pictures of recording this episode in the cave and the hike. The funny thing about Juan Plaza is that no one knows if he actually existed. Locals in the town of San Rafael, along with an actual plaque at the top of the mountain, well, they say he did, but there's no historical record. Most historians agree he's a sort of Robin Hood amalgamation of several bandits who did exist. Outlaws like Luis Candelas, of whose life they made a movie and who now has a dedicated restaurant in downtown Madrid. Or my favorite, Chorra al aire, which loosely translates to dick in the air. I don't know the particulars, and your guess is as good as mine, but I'm sure there's a really good story behind that nickname. I'm also including links and pictures to these films, restaurants, and resources on the bandits' lives in the show notes. I decided to tell Juan Plaza's story anyway because of the voices I heard when I went to the cave. I've also linked the trail if you want to try to find it yourself. I'm not telling you where the cave is, you're going to have to find it on your own. But if you do, send us a picture or tag us. Just search for @SpanishSundown on Facebook, Instagram, or Reddit. I'm Samuel Mattern, and I created and produced this podcast. A big thanks to Simon Jones for the original theme music. Until night falls and the voices speak again, thank you for listening to Spanish Sundown.